Rodriguez show you've been doing for over 10 years. Let's just start off first, with your podcast and video services, even for people that don't know exactly what you do.
Basically, people to show up and talk, and I record it, edit, publish, and then I'll make the social media reels for them.
Yeah.
And then recently I was like, you know what? I can do this 100% of the time.
Yeah. No, I hear
you.
So
I just jumped in it full time, and it's been going well. I really like the idea of recording DJ mixes in different places.
That's cool. So, yeah, the scenery, the change of scenery can always make a difference for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I would tell them to just follow what makes you feel good, and to just be yourself unapologetically. I feel like it took me a while at that age, probably until I was in my mid-20s, to really learn that lesson.
What's going on, everyone? This is YBG here, and I have a very, very special guest today. If you guys know him, he's the host of the Rodriguez Show. He's thrown the latest Halloween parties. He's become a podcast producer, has produced several podcasts, and he has nice, long, flowy hair. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my boy, Cesar Rodriguez. How you doing, bro?
Good, man. Thank you for doing this.
Bro, the roles are reversed now. You just interviewed me last week, and now I'm back interviewing you now.
Yeah, it's definitely different to be on this side of it.
No, but yeah, man. But you know what? We got a lot to cover, because if you guys don't know about this man does it all. He said I wore a lot of hats, but this man for sure definitely wears a lot of hats, bro. So, man, definitely excited to have you here. I've worked and run the studio for a while, so it's great. It's great to have you here. Nah, just playing with you, bro. But anyways, man, look, you've been doing a lot, man. You've been doing podcasting, yourself and producing them. With the Rodriguez Show you've been doing for over 10 years. Let's just start off first, with your podcast and video services. Even for people that don't know exactly what you do, how's that been, and what's going on with that right now?
Yeah, so I think a while into doing the Rodriguez Show, I figured, I can make a high quality podcast, so now I can do it for other people.
Yeah.
And so a few years ago, I started freelance podcast recording for people, and they hired me to record all their podcasts, edit them, publish them, and all that stuff. So now I offer that for anybody that wants it. I basically people to show up and talk, and I record it, edit, publish, and then I'll make the social media reels for them.
Yeah.
So that's something that I was doing it for a while I worked a part-time job, full-time job it became. And then recently I was like, you know what? I can do this 100% of the time.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
So I just jumped in it full time, and it's been going well.
Look, honestly, I give you mad props for that, just for even taking the leap of leaving their job and pursuing this full time, because not everyone could pull the trigger like that, So first of all, mad props for you for that. And how has the transition been ever since, you pursued this full time?
Well, it's only been a month now, and it's been going well so far. I used to be worried about how am I going to make this work? But it's just going with the flow and just trusting that your skills will get you where you need to go, and actually putting in the work to find new clients and stuff like that.
No, that's awesome, man. It's not easy. Just recording a podcast is hard itself, but then also that you're recording for someone else. So people how do you handle? I'm curious about this. The fact that you're producing for other people's podcasts. How do you handle maybe the expectations that people might have, or the pressure you might get a little bit? How do you handle that?
Well, it's kind of a learning curve to figure out how to communicate with people, keep expectations realistic.
Yeah.
And usually people see the work and they appreciate it. So now at this point, it's can you make it look like that? And I'm like, well, it's my other work, so for sure I can make it look like that.
Yeah.
And 100%. So that helps me a lot. I have learned, a lot of my clients have asked me to do certain things that I hadn't done before in terms of the way that it's shot or the way that I do the reels, and that's really pushed me to make it even better.
Yeah.
So it's about checking your own ego and you know what, maybe they are asking for something that you should be doing.
True.
And that's worked out for me so well so far,
No, that's good. I think the more tools that you gain, and the more experience that you build, the more comfortable you're going to feel, even just pursue even bigger clients in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah. But moving on from that, obviously, you've produced for a lot of different podcasts. And then you did, we talked about this the other day, the Curtis Winfield Show. For the people that don't know, tell the people about that, exactly what that is and what you're doing with that.
So I have a friend, his name is Curtis Winfield. He's a DJ, and he mixes music. And what I do is I write stories to whatever mix we come up with. So essentially, I write a story that my friends act out, and so I put it together as kind of like a play while the music is playing, and so it's kind of like skits, you're listening to an album with skits, but I write the skits, Got
it. Oh, that's awesome, bro. And has that been something you've been doing for a while, as far as just writing, even just for fun, writing skits and stuff like that?
Yeah, so it used to be called something else, but I used to do the same thing about 7 or 8 years ago. I did it more consistently.
Okay.
Where I did episodes. I think it was 20 episodes. And I just hadn't done it in a while. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to start doing it again. And it's been fun. I just recorded the other day with my friends in here, and I'm still working on it.
And what was the motivation to get back on that?
Just having that like being able to have that extra free time to be like, okay, now that I don't have to go to a full-time job, I can pursue like all these things that I put down a while ago.
I definitely know what you mean with that. I mean, the fact when like that's the best part when you have a business, especially something that you're passionate about, and when you finally have that day where you can leave your 9 to 5 or your part-time job or wherever you're at and pursue this full time, then you realize, oh, you know what, I've been wanting to work on this other project, this other side project that I put away, for like a year or so. So props to you, man, because I mean the fact that now you're able to expand like that is big for you.
Yeah, and I think it's like sitting at home. You're like, okay, I edited what I need to do today. Now, what's next? And now that I have that freedom, it just feels good.
No, awesome, man. Just keep it going for sure, man. I know there was another thing we were talking about too. Is that you obviously have a YouTube channel with your wife, Carla. Tell the people about that. What's the updates with that? You got any episodes coming up? What's going on with that?
Yeah, so we've been doing our music reactions for a while. The one that really hit for us was the Beyonce Renaissance one.
Hey, we went to the tour. Me and Joe went to the tour for that. So yeah,
it was good. It was a great album too. So we recorded that the night that the album came out, and I edited to release the same day, basically on Friday.
Wow.
And so because I knew I was like, this is going to be a big topic on YouTube. I have to hit it over the weekend.
Dang, and time consuming for sure.
But it was worth it, and that got us like a good following on there. And
nice.
We did a GNX reaction for Kendrick Lamar.
Nice.
And then we talk. We also do a podcast where we talk about our lives.
Okay.
So it's also like we talk about the self-help work that we do. We're working on each other and like the books that we read and stuff like that. But then we also do a fun thing called like Am I the Asshole, which is just reading from Reddit and talking about if people are assholes or not.
I do remember that. I do remember seeing a couple clips of that. And I mean, how's that been? I mean, with you, doing a YouTube channel, especially like, with your wife, with your partner. I mean, how's it been ever since you guys started doing that?
It's good. Yeah, it's ups and downs of like having the time to put in for like recording and editing stuff because it is like because she also has her own small business where she does indoor plants for people, but she also has her creative projects that she's working on, and so us trying to coordinate is sometimes tough. But then we also live each life and we get tired,
Yeah, I get it. Totally get it.
So there's a lot of like we did a Lady Gaga album reaction that I recorded the day the album came out, which is almost a year ago, and I still have not edited it, but I want to put it out. Same thing with Childish Gambino's album. Like there's just stuff sitting there. I was like, okay, I got to put this out soon.
No, I get it. It happens, man. Like there's sometimes like you get so many ideas and you get all the footage that you want to get, but it takes time because then you have other things come up, and then sometimes it gets overwhelming where it's hard to keep up with like all the editing and stuff. So I definitely know what you mean. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, that a lot of people know you for is the Rodriguez show.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's been a minute, that you've been like, that since you put out some episodes, with Mondo and all that. So, what can we expect for 2026 for the Rodriguez show?
Yeah, well, definitely. I'm still recording interviews. I'm going to release the one I did with you and Really Ami, and just have some things coming up that we're going to release. It's been mostly me just because Mondo, he just had his baby, Rosie.
Congrats
Shout out to
Mondo.
Congrats. Yeah. Just giving him time to, obviously get kind of create a schedule. I mean, who knows if you even can when you have a baby.
Yeah, 100%.
So I've been doing interviews in here, and we're also going to be recording some DJ mixes with Mondo. So we're definitely going to continue doing that, just, being collaborative with other groups.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of like recording DJ mixes in different places.
That's cool. So, yeah, the scenery, the change of scenery can always make a difference for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like the other day, I saw something that really inspired me. It was this girl. She DJs, and she is in the middle of like the video was her in a couples therapy session. So there was a couple doing couples therapy, which I don't think it was real. I think it was just like an acted scene. She was in the corner DJing, and then I went on her YouTube channel. And she's like in court, like it's like a court proceeding, and she's in the corner DJing.
Wow.
So stuff like that, where I'm like, you wouldn't expect.
No. Hey, especially in court, man. Like someone's guilty or not guilty, she's gonna have the little tag for that or something. That's crazy. No, that's cool though, man. I mean, I'm glad that you're still going with the show because the fact that you've been doing the Rodriguez show, for people don't know, he's been doing it for over 10 years.
Yeah.
He's interviewed probably all of OC, like OC, all different type of OC artists, obviously outside of OC as well. The man has done so much with that show. And shout out to Mondo for obviously them working together and his whole team. So Rodriguez Show. If you haven't checked it out, make sure to check it out on Instagram, YouTube. I've been on it. A lot of people I know have been on it. Make sure to check that out.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, man, moving on, obviously me and you, we've done radio and, podcasting for a cool minute. I've been involved with that over 10 years as well. Both Cal State Fullerton, Tusk up, motherfucker, Titan alumni in the building. Yes, sir.
That's
For
funny.
people that don't know. I want to know, you obviously would agree that podcasting radio has changed over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I would say when I started doing radio, it was like 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say from 2015 till now, it's changed and evolved.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what are your thoughts of like the evolving that's happened over the years and like where it's at today?
Yeah. Well, so I started podcasting in 2009.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was like around the only person that knew about it was Joe Rogan, also doing that at that time.
Yeah.
I just did it in high school for fun. I started a podcast club in my high school, and then they continued to do the podcast club after I left.
Oh,
so
wow.
that was cool. Yeah.
Wow.
But back then it was nobody knew what it was, and also how to do it correctly. So it was like, okay, I have to find microphones that connect to my computer. How do you even do that? And now it's like all laid out for you, where it's like there's apps where all you need is an app and you have a great sounding podcast.
Pretty much.
So I feel like just like how music on the internet blew up because people could put up their own music, now with podcasting, because it's so easy to do, there's like 10,000 of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of them are really powerful and they have a lot of influence on people's lives, and maybe it's a little bit too much influence. So I just it's a little dangerous.
Yeah. I think it's crazy because I feel like over 10 years ago, not anyone could just do a podcast. I
don't think so.
I feel like when we were doing it, it was kind of rare when we would tell people, "Oh, we're doing radio and podcast." It was like, "Oh, that's really cool."
Yeah.
But I feel like nowadays, like there's so much access to and like even maybe the affordability. Like you just need your iPhone, a couple cheap mics, maybe a cheap mixer or a cheap interface, and then you're good to go.
Exactly.
So I think it's crazy, but yeah, sometimes it could be a little dangerous because like you said, with sometimes it's just too much influence. I definitely agree with that. But I mean, at least it's cool that people now have more accessibility. If they have something they're passionate about, or something they want to speak up on, or something they want to stand for, at least now people have like that ability to do that.
Yeah, and that's even with my clients too. When I get them set up, I'm like, I'm so surprised that I can get them running in like less than a week when they have their podcasts up on all the channels.
Yeah.
And I remember when it used to take me like a month to submit one thing, and you have to be like, how does this even work? Now it's like, oh, press here. And you're good to go.
No, I definitely, I feel like back then, even just recording was different, a little bit harder. And like, you couldn't just record off the phone yet. You know what I mean? So crazy. But yeah, like we were saying about, how we've been doing, you've been doing radio for a minute. I've been doing radio for a minute. But I'm curious for you, when was your first interview, or what was your first interview? How did that go? If you remember.
Yeah, so my first interview was with a band. It was Cosmic Rays. It was a few of my friends that I went to high school with. They started a band.
Okay.
And when I started podcasting more seriously at Hits 101 Radio, because before I even started the Rodriguez Show there, my cousin DJ ADM, he was the one that brought me in and was like,
wow.
He's like, do a guest hosting spot. And then from there, he let me podcast in there whenever I could. So I interviewed them there for my own like podcast, and it was cool. It was just my friend, so it was a little bit more. I was a little more nervous than I would be now, obviously. And,
no, I definitely get that.
and it was so different technically because it was like there's 4 of them. They're sharing like 2 microphones, and
oh yeah,
like, I probably would be embarrassed to listen to it for the quality, not for what I said or anything.
Hey man, at least like you didn't do what I did. I rapped on my first interview before the interview started. I started rapping until we had live on the air. So I definitely,
Were you the interviewer or the person being interviewed?
No, I was the interviewer. But like the verse was introducing the show.
Oh, I see.
And then I waited to like start talking.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was trying to be different. So,
hey, whatever you got to do to stand out.
Yeah, it worked. It worked. So yeah. Now, obviously, we've done a lot of interviews individually on our own, and I think every host has gone through this. Do you remember a time that you ever had or do you remember like the worst interview you ever had?
Yeah, I thought about this because we did discuss this question beforehand, and I don't want to say the name. I'm not going to say the name.
Of course, good.
But I think so there's a trend that I see is people that come on to the Rodriguez Show or any interview, and they have things that they want to say before, even though they might not fit what the hell the interview's about.
Yeah.
So like you're just you're talking, and the person will throw out like, and then this, and you're like, what do I even do with that, dude? Like, what the heck? And I couldn't. It was just they throw out political messages where like, hey, how am I supposed to have a conversation with you about that right now? Like does this make sense in the context of this? I'd love to talk to you about it, but you just throwing this out and now you're throwing me a curveball where you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And then a lot of egos, like,
yeah,
you'd be surprised even at the level that I've had of people that I interview. I'm like, how are you telling me that like, I get it that when you're a rapper, you want to say you're the best rapper, but just the way that you come off in the room, you know, you got to read the room and like still be polite to people around you, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
And I think the single worst interview I had was a person that just came on and you're like, wait, do I even want to put this person on because they're saying so many negative things about women that I can't release this ever again. And then you even have to cut stuff out sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's where you're like, okay, I can't. And that's they've never like gone back and been like, do I really want to platform this person? And at the end of it, I'm like, I don't, and I just don't put it out, you know?
That's fair.
Yeah.
No, that's totally fair.
And yeah, it sucks because you have to tell the person you're not going to put their interview out, but you know, you can't, because at the end of the day, whatever I release has my name on it, so I have to believe what the person's saying, or at least have the respect for their opinion, you know?
And that's more of a business move, I feel, at that point. At that point, it's more of a business and move, and I feel like, people like to have to understand, like, you know, business is business. Sometimes, like, if it doesn't make the cut, it doesn't make the cut. Yeah. I had the opposite experience. For me, the person just had very minimum answers.
Oh, okay.
Like less than 5 words every question I asked. I swear. It was less than 5 words every question I asked. And Jules is looking at me because she knows what I'm talking about. That was like back in the college radio days. And that was probably like, still to this day, probably like, the worst one I had. But you know, it is what it is. Now, you know, a couple more questions I want to ask you before we wrap things up. You know, if you got to talk right now to your younger self right now, let's say maybe 18-year-old or 17-year-old Cesar, what would you tell him about your future?
I would tell him to just follow what makes you feel good, and to just be yourself unapologetically. And I feel like it took me a while at that age, probably until I was in my mid-20s, to like really learn that lesson. And if I maybe told myself that a long time ago, I mean, you can't really look back and regret it, but at the same time, I'm like, man, like if that kid only knew like what you're doing now is going to be what you do forever and you should just enjoy it. Like stop trying to like second guess it, you know?
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. And then last question, I mean, kind of similar, but what's motivate? I mean, you've been doing this for over 10 years. I mean, what's been the motivation for you to keep doing what you're doing and just waking up every day and telling yourself, you know, I'm gonna keep doing this. I got this.
It's hard to answer because that's, to me, like that's what living is to just continue putting your ideas out there.
Yeah.
So like the fact that I can keep doing this, like despite the fact that like, you know, I struggle with, I'm not struggling, but I'm like trying to work it so I can make this my life and make money off of it, but still get the creative ideas that I want out there. Like it's all worth it to me because I have the freedom now. And so just being able to use that. And I've in the past, like I would say when I got my first studio outside of the radio station, I had the opportunity to do a lot of creative things there, and then I froze, and I couldn't get a lot of creative stuff done, and then I lost that studio like a few months later, and I'm like, I should have taken advantage of that opportunity. So now, whenever an opportunity presents itself with a little more freedom, I'm like, I got to use it to the fullest because I can't let stuff slip away, you know?
Yeah. No, I definitely get you on that. But you know what, Cesar, I'm glad, you know, you're doing everything you're doing, and like it's been amazing to see. You know, I've been a fan for many years, and a lot of people have respect for me, especially out here in Orange County and the hip hop scene. Like people have a lot of respect for you. So I just want to give you your flowers for that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you saying that, and yeah, I hope that everybody that knows about the show knows that I really respect the music scene and that I really just want to help artists, you know, and that's what I like to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, everyone, again, this is Cesar Rodriguez. The man does it all. YBG here. And until next time.
Thanks, guys.
Let's get it.